Awesome.
All right. So, hello, everyone. I briefly introduced myself earlier. So, I work for 4-H British Columbia, and I work from home, fortunately. On our farm, we have a little farm just outside of Kamloops. And so, my role in the 4-H British Columbia staff is I am the volunteer support coordinator. So my primary focus is to support new leaders and new clubs in their first year, from just getting off the ground to all the way through achievement, which we heard a little bit about when other people were speaking. So as I said before, I was briefly a 4-H member. My children all went through the program and took advantage of many of the things that Sarah's going to talk about in her presentation here shortly. I was a parent, and I loved being a 4-H parent and a 4-H grandparent, and I've been a leader and a key leader, and now I'm fortunate to, they say, to find what you love and then figure out a way to get paid for it. And so this has just been fantastic for me. So I'm passionate. To say that I'm passionate is probably an understatement. So what is 4-H? I think we've all had a bit of an introduction, and lots of people are familiar with it. But if I was just to pretend that you guys knew nothing about it, so it's a organization dedicated to young people from ages from 6 to 21. We do have some beyond that with the AgMent program, which is a program for older youth. And then, of course, with the help of adult volunteers, the program provides young people with an opportunity to learn how to become productive and self-assured adults. And this environment, it empowers youth and adult volunteers to gain mastery in a wide variety of skills. And we provide support by modeling leadership and providing mentorship for the youth. So the philosophy of the 4-H program is explained in the 4-H motto, which we've heard a little bit talked about. And the motto is learn to do by doing. And that's really relevant for the members and also the leaders. Often the adult volunteers are also learning to do by doing. And so the motto really encompasses the nature of the program and the passing of knowledge and encouraging youth to gain hands-on experience. So the 4-H pledge, which is recited at the beginning of 4-H activities most of the time. So it's the significance of the 4-H's, and the pledge is, and those of you that are alumni, you can say along with me: I pledge my head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, my health to better living, for my club, my community, my country, and this has been added, and my world. So the 4-H's stand for head, managing, thinking; heart, relating, caring; hands, giving, working; and health, being, living. The goal of the 4-H program is positive youth development. And this is accomplished by members completing project work, participating in public speaking, which we've heard lots about, keeping a detailed record of their project and 4-H year, critical thinking skills through judging, and many varied travel opportunities that members can explore. And the objectives, of course, are knowledge, leadership, citizenship, personal development. And there's a group of, I believe those are all ambassadors from Sarah runs an amazing ambassador program for our older youth. So why develop a 4-H club in your community? There's lots of reasons, and we've heard some, and some of these will be, me repeating what's already been said, but certainly youth through 4-H can meet new friends from their own community around the province and across the country, and even internationally on some cases, and those are friends for life. So especially with the social media, the way that it is now, our youth are staying in contact with children that they meet all over the country, and that you can try and try new things, learn new skills, explore their passions, challenge themselves. They share in decision-making in club meetings. This was touched on a bit. And they support each other. And then they can discover and pursue educational goals through 4-H experiences. They can attain grade 11 and grade 12 credits, which Sarah will talk more about, and explore scholarships that are only available to 4-H members and other opportunities as well. From public speaking and demonstrations to helping others in their club and community, 4-H members learn skills to excel in life. So within the 4-H program, we have 4 pillars, and all the projects fall underneath one of the pillars. So our first pillar, community engagement and communication, and 4-H Canada provides opportunities for youth to get involved in their community as active, engaging leaders to help create positive change within Canada and across the globe. Science and technology, because 4-Hers are often a catalyst for change and drivers in innovation in science and technology, engaging young people in hands-on science and technology-based projects is the focus of this 4-H in Canada leadership development pillar. Environment and healthy living, 4-H in Canada ensures our program and activities create opportunities for youth to succeed in letting them focus on exploration and self-discovery. And then sustainable agriculture and food security is our largest pillar. A century ago, 4-H youth were a strong force within our country's primary economic sector, which is agriculture. Today, it's no different. And in fact, the movement has grown and gained further reach. In recognition of 4-H as a global movement, 4-H in Canada has expanded to include a focus on sustainable agriculture practices, as well as the vital importance of food security, both at home and abroad. Young people are taking an active interest in issues affecting people worldwide. This 4-H leadership development pillar is vital to the growth of young people and the food we eat around the world. So now we'll just look a little bit more in depth at each of our pillars. So this pillar, the community engagement and communications, holds our Cloverbud project. And that project is for boys and girls 6 to 8 years old as of January 1st. And the Cloverbud units are very busy with fun-filled activities and that explore future projects for 4-H. And it's geared to those younger members, and it's getting them prepared for when they can have a project. Also is junior leadership, and it helps the older members develop more in-depth leadership skills. Junior leaders share responsibilities with an adult leader in leading a group of younger members or organizing a program. Like we've had junior leaders that have perhaps taken on things like the judging rallies that Michelle and some of our other speakers were talking about. We're currently updating the Adopt a Grandparent project to focus more on intergenerational learning, helping members develop interpersonal skills and build their community connections. They haven't decided on a name yet, but please keep your ears open for what the new name will be. But the different units will focus on getting to know, learn, and create with someone from a different generation. And self-determined allows an individual or a group of 4-H members to select a project of their special interest. The purpose of this project is to give members the opportunity to pursue their interests in an activity that isn't an official project. So I had a club that tried to get going up in one of the territories, and they were going to do geocaching as a self-determined group project because British Columbia, 4-H in BC doesn't have geocaching right now, so they were going to explore that. Science and technology, a relatively small pillar right now, but certainly we're looking at expanding it in BC 4-H or 4-H BC as well as across the country. So science and technology has Tractor, where members practice operating a tractor on its own and with equipment in tow. They learn about ignition and valve systems, power steering and hydraulics, troubleshooting, maintenance, and of course, the safe operations of a tractor. And it also houses the small engine project, where members learn the operation of a 2- and 4-cycle engine and how to maintain and repair small engines. They also do some study on carburetor operations, ignition, and an engine overhaul component is included as well. So in coming years, 4-H BC will create new projects for the science and technology pillar as part of our strategic plan. Sustainable agriculture and food security, of course, is our largest pillar and houses many projects. We have dog, which members train and care for their own dog. It's great for urban folks that can't have the larger livestock. The beef project, of course, which we've talked about some, that has like beef type heifers, cows, and steers, different units within that. Dairy, which is a very popular project depending on the area. Certainly in the Fraser Valley, there's lots of dairy. Field crops. We also have gardening, where members learn basic principles of gardening. They have a variety of gardening choices, from vegetable gardens, community gardens, container gardening, worm composting, or a butterfly garden. And these projects are suitable for most rural and urban clubs for sure. We have agroforestry, swine. The swine project's available for caring for one or more feeder hog or market hog, or a breeding gilt or a brood sow. The sheep project allows members to raise market lambs or ewe lambs, ewes with lamb at foot. And as they get older, they can start to establish a small flock or raise a number of ewes for breeding. A llama is a project as well. Horse, and the members work through the units that are progressive. So as the members and their horses learn skills and become proficient, then they move on to the next. They complete those units and move on to the next ones. Poultry is becoming quite popular, and they raise chickens for eggs or meat production, depending on the unit that the youth chooses. And they can also raise ducks or geese or turkeys in the poultry project as well. Honeybees is another really great project where the 4-H members learns about owning bees and caring for the hives. They study the social lives of bees, and they dance. I didn't know that until I watched something. The bees actually dance to communicate. And they also learn about honey producing plants and areas, and how bees pollinate crops, and that they increase the yield of many fruits and seed crops. The fourth pillar is the environment and healthy living pillar. And in this pillar, we have bicycle, which is they learn the mechanics of the bikes and how to properly maintain them and different parts of the bicycle. The environmental project uses resources from the Kids for Saving Earth guidebook. It takes a closer look at environmental concerns in their community, and the project is really self-directed. So the club chooses the topics that they're most interested in, and plan community projects and field trips based on the interests of the members in that community. Outdoor living is a great project. It brings the opportunity for members to explore skills such as preparing a meal in a tin can or over a fire, basic principles of first aid, and how to use edible wild plants and fruits. So that's a really interesting project that's quite adaptable as well. And then we have clothing and fiber art projects that are available. And then we also have crafts, which is members can express themselves creatively, and it's really not limited to anything, only your imagination. The leather craft project can be tailored to fit the skills your community wants your youth to learn. And photography is also very popular, as many members will complete their projects just using the camera on their cell phones. Also in this pillar, we have cavy, which are guinea pigs, goats, and rabbit. So yeah, those are our 4 pillars and the projects that fall under them. And so how to get started. So a club needs 2 screened registered leaders. So leaders go through a onboarding process that involves an interview with your district key leader or a committee, as well as references, 3 reference checks where that committee or that individual will contact people that have known you for some time, just to get a sense of you as a person. You'll need a criminal records check done for a vulnerable sector, because we're working with children. And then there's some courses that need to be taken by new leaders, and they must be completed within the first year. The first one to be done is called Commit to Kids, and it's done on the internet at your own pace. and we encourage new leaders to get that done as soon as possible. And then there's 2 more courses that are delivered by Sarah and Marika and their staff at the Youth Development in the Ministry of Agriculture. And one is administration of a 4-H club, and the other one is intro to 4-H. And they have some really great resources in there to help you get a handle on the first year. And of course, I'm here to help as well. You also need 6 members from the ages of 6 to 21 in order to have a 4-H club. And each 4-H club needs an official sponsor. You can certainly have more than one sponsor, but you need one individual or organization that will be your official sponsor. And there isn't any rules as to what the sponsor has to do. For instance, Canham Lake, they have a huge sponsor with their band sponsoring them, but it could be a community association that just allows you to hold meetings in their hall. Or, you know, it could be a company that is going to get shirts and get the 4-H emblem put on it, and then, you know, that's their contribution. So there's lots of options. You just need one official sponsor. And then there are grant and funding opportunities. So right now, we have some grant funds to help new startup clubs. And so that covers the first year registration, which I believe this year is $115 for each member. And then also it costs $25 per leader. So the grant covers the costs of that, as well as there's a stipend for each member of the club that after registration is done, there's $25 that gets sent to the club to help with, you know, startup costs with, you know, club clothing, or if you need to buy equipment and things like that. It really is dependent on what the club is. But yeah, that money's there. And Michelle touched on also Community Futures. In most communities, they have a program where members, they need a guardian to sign, but they can borrow a sum of money to help with project expenses, and it is interest-free and does not have to be repaid until after the end of the 4-H year or when there's a sale. So that's something really great too. And so there's tons of support. There's key leaders in each district. There's a district council. We have, you know, people like Michelle who have been longtime members who are so great about offering support, and myself, of course. So here, like I said, the key leader, the key leader is a position that's been involved in the 4-H program for a very long time, often a grandparent or a parent that's children are not necessarily in the program anymore. They are a wealth of knowledge. They've been there, done it all, and they really provide assistance to the 4-H clubs and leaders. And they're kind of, they go between the region and the district. So they're a great resource, of course. And then we have a district and regional council, which are responsible for coordination of district and regional 4-H activities, like the judging rallies that Michelle mentioned are typically a district and maybe a regional activity. And then provincial council is responsible for conducting the business of the, our provincial 4-H, and it includes administration, programming, and setting policy for our 4-H British Columbia program. At the BC 4-H staff, which I'm a member of, we have our manager and a communications person and a marketing person and a fund development person, and then we have some great office staff as well. And they are responsible for the administration, management, and marketing for the provincial 4-H program, working in conjunctions with provincial council. So, and I'm one of the staff members. I'm the volunteer support coordinator, and I already told you a little bit about my job. I'm basically here to help all our new members. And then we have an amazing resource, our 4-H BC partners, which are Sarah and Marika are part of, is the Minister of Agriculture, the Youth Development staff, and they deliver all our training and our programming, and they're the people that if we have specific questions about beef and what, or KV or what we need to do, they're the people that we go to.